Now I want to bring in Grammy award-winning songwriter and one of Cassie's close friends, Tiffany Red. She wrote a public letter to Diddy in December of 2023 called Sean Combs Traumatized Me, in order to corroborate the claims Cassie made in her lawsuit against Diddy. Tiffany, thank you for joining us. It is so difficult, so horrific to watch this and wonder what life must have been and may have been like. Can you take us back to that time, Tiffany, and tell us what Diddy was like from your personal observations, what their relationship was like? Is there context you can give?
I mean, I can definitely provide context around like this incident. Cassie confided in me about this incident when I was working with her around this time, around 2016. We were working on her sophomore album, and she told me about this situation. Their relationship was volatile for sure. And like you could tell that she was afraid of him, and that there was a lot of control. And yeah, sorry, it's witnessing, like
what do you
seeing,
feeling?
Well, I mean, the thing is like I said, this is something that Cassie confided in me about back then. And like the one thing specifically that always stuck out to me about the story was him throwing the vase at her. And to see it, like I remember her saying, I remember it being at the Intercontinental. I remember the whole situation. But to like know a story is one thing, but to see it is something different. And then also to see it, somebody that you care about, like, it's that a video of my friend getting violently assaulted is all over the world, and no one was there to help her. And it just, I don't know, it makes me really sad.
I mean, Tiffany, excuse my voice, but to hear and your description of it, I mean, a lot of this is detailed in her lawsuit. He is denying, by the way, excuse my voice, he is denying all the allegations against him from that suit. But now we're watching this video in real time now. Is this vindication for Cassie, do you think? Or, I mean, I can only imagine the trauma of having the world now having seen what she endured.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think that it validates what was in the lawsuit. It validates what she said happened. And so I definitely think for anyone who was, oh, people are just making up stories, it was a money grab, it was all these things, you're trying to take people down in the culture, all this crap. I think like it as somebody who loves her, it's hard to watch, and it makes me sad that it takes people having to see it this clearly for them to believe it. And, for that perspective, I think that, I think that now it's like, see, we're not being dramatic. No one's lying. Like this is real.
Tiffany, when you mentioned the idea of that she was trying to take down the culture, I mean, I heard that stupidity. I remember when this news
it's so annoying.
of the claim. I mean, annoying is one way to put it. It was just so unsettling. As a woman, as a human being, as to hear people, describe, her as an opportunist, to try to, in some ways, re-victimize her and suggest that they knew what she was thinking, feeling, doing, her motivation, what the context was, all of it. As much as people talk about the presumption of innocence for somebody who might be a defendant, there is none given to somebody who might be a victim. There's never a presumption of truth in those. And she actually alleged more than a decade of abuse. She was only 19 years old when they first met. He, I think, was 37. And so often, you know,
Mhm.
and this idea of power dynamics and people are blamed for not leaving. What do you say to those who seem to have that thought about your friend who you love?
I mean, I think that most people think that they can understand what it's like to be abused by a billionaire, but they don't. I think that a lot of people think that they get it that are not in the lifestyle of entertainment and the lifestyle of money and power. And you can clearly see in that video, she's trying to leave, and he didn't allow her to leave. Leaving is not that simple. And you would think that with as common as domestic violence is in America, um, you would think that because it's so common, because it's going on in so many people's households, that they would understand that breaking the cycle of abuse is not that simple, let alone your abuser being one of the most powerful people in the music business, someone who has massive influence in the culture, who has political ties, who has, a lot of resources. And so for all of the people that are like, why didn't she leave? I say to them, why didn't you leave? Why don't you leave the abusive, your whatever your crappy situation is, whoever your abuser is, like it's not that simple. If it was, everybody would leave, but that's not the case.
I mean,
So
people are
I
very
think that it's
judgmental, Tiffany, and they think they know.
like,
One thing I tell you, I mean,
what they would do.
yeah, yeah.
They think they
As
know
a,
what they would do.
you're
And it's
right.
like you don't know what you would do.
No.
There's so many people that say